CP squared has 51 5 degrees of freedom. Make me
I got hungry and I ate it. We're Americans and we only like competition, okay? I'm eating and I'm reading a book. And this waitress comes up.
Welcome everybody to another strange, weird, wild, and whatever the hell we call this stream. All right, here we go. I don't know why he didn't cut that part out after all the editing that he did. But anyways. So that's about 10 pounds of weight right there. And then each one of these is about 10 pounds of weight as well. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. But then I was like, oh my god, the broken glass. I forgot about that. Which I need to start doing this act again more. I just need to make more broken glass. Speaking of that devil, we're going to talk about broken glass walking as a palate cleanser for today's stream. Ouch, that's gotta. And I know that's just a cola thingy mabobber, but that's about 12, 13 pounds or something like that. I don't know. It's still not easy to fucking lift your fucking ears. And then here's the goddamn sword. Oh my god, honey. I told you that Slim swallows the goddamn big-ass sword. And you gotta take a lot of lubrication first before you swallow a large object, right? So... Oh my god, honey, how did he swallow that? Anyways. And then we below, and I'll go ahead and do this and just back. Okay. And then now we'll get into the things of the mobobbers, which is...
Disclaimer: the views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers, commentators, experts, and/or hosts. They do not explicitly or necessarily reflect nor represent the channel's policy or the views held by this channel or broadcaster. The broadcaster or its channel cannot be held accountable for all or any views expressed during this program.
It's just like Killer Cop 4, but she's got Hema instead of fry cook balls. I need you, Action Bastard. Action Bastard, I need you. Action Bastard, I need you. Why am I wasting time dancing?
You want to know why? Because the world is fucking flat, dog. And everything that you see up there, as far as like planets or stars, yeah, guess what, dude? It's fucking fake. It's just lights up there. The government put those lights up there so you dummies could just act like there's something up there.
Wait a second, are you a flat earther?
Call a crackhead.
You're stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. God damn it, Mama, I forgot to download the America. Fuck yeah, but I'll get that done soon. So anyways, Thank you everybody for being here. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell and notifications, and if you wouldn't mind, please share and comment on the video. I'm gonna start doing something that was watching another content creator doing. If y'all don't want to spend very much time commenting, just put the robot head. Just comment the robot. Everybody comment the robot head right now in the comments, and that's all you got to put. Just so we get more engagement, so we can get more views on this. I would like to get at least 100 views, which we used to get until they did all the weird thingy mabobbers they did with a TOS and the marketing and the advertisement or something, and then everybody fucking suffered, and especially us smaller content creators. So if everybody would just do that as a favor for me, that would be awesome. Or go to all of the videos, and if anything, just comment and robot head or robot arm or any of the robot or cyborg or anything like that. So that would be fucking amazing if y'all would do that to help us boost our being seen in the algorithms. So anyways, let's bring in our co-host and our guest. If there's anybody who wants to join us as a guest, go ahead and let us know. Otherwise, sit there in the side chat and have fun with us. It's going to be a very interesting thing. If you do not know about The Greatest Showman on Earth, and we're not just talking about that movie or the theater production, we're talking about the real history of this gentleman and why and how he was able to become what they claim to be the greatest showman on earth. We're going to go over dark stuff and good stuff about him, but on this channel we don't whitewash or go over the nice parts of things. We will dive deep into the gray shanty holes. Anyways, talk about that later. I had to do that for you, dog. All right, so let's bring in our co-host, and that, of course, is everybody's favorite.
But some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Yes, I guess you're right.
And that's what she said. Anyways, how are you doing, Brainless?
I'm doing pretty good.
You're doing that mission?
No, just a cunt.
Oh, I thought you were doing the barn mission where you had to like rescue that lady or somebody from the top floor. You had to, anyways, it doesn't matter. I definitely miss playing the game, and hopefully soon I will spend more time. But we'll see. Let's bring in our next guest. And again, if there's anybody who wants to join us, let us know. We're gonna say hello to the side of my chest in just a second. But our next guest is our Dog Marooney. How are you doing, Dog?
Oh, yeah, just me. And don't you mean the second greatest show on earth? You previewed the greatest show on earth at the beginning of the stream. And by the way, I found Waldo.
You found Waldo?
You found Waldo?
Well, yeah.
Waldo.
Well, I thought Slim was dressed as Waldo in his stripy red and black stripy suit.
Yeah, no, I totally do look like Waldo. I get what you're saying for sure. Yes.
Well, you didn't, because I have to explain the fucking thing.
Well, yes, but now I get it. But anyways,
we're slow.
Let's
Slim, do a double dumbass then.
Well, we can do. Jesus Christ, it's right here. It's there we go.
You dumbass!
And anyways, so the really cool thing, we have not gone over the Circus of Scars and or the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow on here. I don't think yet, which that's what we totally need to do. God damn it. Somebody fucking messaged me that and reminded me that we need to do that. I've had every single one of the Jim Rose Circus Sideshow performers, even Jim Rose himself, and they have all told me, they're like, Slim, you've taken our whole show, put it all together and done it yourself, and then not used any of our jokes or any of the references that we've ever used. Like literally, Mr. Lifto, Enigma lived with me for 2 years. He praised how that I was doing all the things. He did teach me how to swallow the sword, but I don't use the same verbiage and jokes that he uses, and then the Tube, the Torture King, Jim Rose, all of them have contacted me being like, damn, bro, you like did all of our stuff, but not in the way that any of us did it. So yeah, I will claim I am one of the better shows on earth.
You're
but
unique.
I'm still a broke bastard. But anyways, let's say hello to the side of my chats and we'll get into what I know about the subject we're going over, because I have a lot of
the bomb.
Yeah, exactly. That's everybody say hello to the
Hey, Harry.
Orcs. We've got a
Hello,
Canadian Ollie man.
Ollie.
The commanders should be in here later if they can find a place to join us. And then we have a Demons of the Orbs,
Demon.
Troy.
That's it.
I'm never gonna call you just Troy. I'm always gonna call you J Troy, because that's how we
Troy.
found out about you. But
It's
anyways,
just Troy.
Captain Desk. I know, no,
Yeah,
I know,
Dave,
I know.
Dave.
But I'm
Dave
always
in the
gonna
house.
say it that way. I'm always gonna
He's
say it that
Dave.
way. So yes, and then we have a Tubian.
Tubian.
Welcome everybody to the streams of the things and stuff and things. What I am offering tonight is
dog vomit there. Oh, that was.
I saw the dog.
When you mentioned
vomit.
Shani.
Yeah. And what we were talking about is in the comments, not in the side of my chats. But yeah, you can totally do it in the side of my chats as well, just to show more engagement. We all will say that. And then Captive Desk, as always, says all hail Bigfoot and all hail Sasquatch. So anyways, let's see. I feel like I was going to do something, but anyway, no, fuck it. Let's just get into the thingy-mabobbers. Brainless, will you remind me as a palate cleanser to do the glass walking thing?
The glass what?
Glass walking. Just at some point.
Oh, glass.
The broken glass,
in 30 minutes or so, or an hour-ish, remind me of glass walking.
I'll do my best.
13 minutes.
I know.
That's a show, mate.
That's well, I want to break up some of it with this as well. Oh my Jeebus Christ, I have some fucking stupidity for the next news thing we're doing. Let's see. Let's find it's over.
Well, P.T. Barnum could see that in people as well, couldn't he? Stupidity.
Well, we're going to find out exactly why he was really awesome at learning how to manipulate peoples. It's very interesting. I didn't know this about his childhood until this. I knew almost everything else about his life except for his childhood, which is freaking amazing. And it makes a lot of sense because this is actually kind of how I grew up.
Yeah, you're a fellow Carney.
Yeah, no, exactly, Simile. But I did it kind of the same way he did it before I was a carny, was selling things to other people like at school or bargaining and stuff, which we're going to find out in just a second. So if you've not, please go ahead and like the stream. Do the other things. There should be the thing at the bottom right that has like those like 4 emotes. I believe I have it. Push those every once in a blue moon for the heck of it. And here we blow with.
I don't have those. I think my app blocker on Brave blocks them.
Yeah, I see it on Mango and Lizard stream, and I push those for them. So the bottom of your chat, there should be.
But what does that? What does that do? Is that just show an engagement or something?
Yeah. You can hit the heart, you can hit the shocked face, you can hit the laughing face, and there's one other thing that I don't remember. But anyways, let's blow on with what the meat and potatoes.
All I have is a cash app.
P.T. Barnum was one of the richest.
I think other people can see it, and if not, I don't know how.
Yeah, some
everybody
people see
else
it,
has
some
it.
don't.
I don't. Yeah, and I think it's if you're on your phone, if you're on your laptop, and or a real computer, I think there may be a difference. But anyways, let's
Yeah, I wanna
crack
see
on.
that.
I'm just trying to get more engagement because they have been demonetizing the fuck out of my videos, and my watch time's going down. My videos. All right, dog. What? Oh well, I'll do 2 pinks for sure. Oh, what I wanted to say was,
Oh, you don't have to drink. I was just saying, you know,
no, that's fine. No, I know, but that's how it goes. If you
out
donate,
into
it'll be
the gas bill, as you call it. Is that why you
yes.
call it gas when it's liquid? What do you call gas? Natural gas?
I should be calling it petroleum the whole time, is what you're saying?
Oh, petrol,
To
yeah,
make-
or whatever.
Petrol,
but what
yeah.
do you
Yeah,
call
yeah,
gas?
yeah.
That powers your stoves or ovens and
Well,
cookers. We call them.
They mainly use propane over there.
I usually call it gas when I Dutch oven my significant other, but that's been a while since that's happened because I've been single for so long. But anyways, for 50
that's
bucks,
because of the Dutch ovens, no doubt.
well, that's why nobody wants to sleep with me anymore. Totally. Never mind. So for 50 bucks, I'll eat the rest of all of this stuff that's here as well. Did I not put up my thingy mabobbers for the links?
I think you put it up, but maybe you didn't pin it.
Pin it? Shit. Okay.
No, you've not put it up even.
Slim, you're not delegating enough to your producer there, brainless fucking Steel. He should be putting that shit up.
No,
he's too busy. He's too busy.
No fucking producer.
Yes, you are. You're fucking number 2 in command. And number 2 does all the fucking busy work. Well, number 1 is the talent. You're the busy worker. Put the shit up in the stream.
I know I'm a number 2. I know I'm a stinky bastard.
Put the shit up in the chat and shut the fuck up.
Okay,
Let's go with
there we blow. So for $5, I'll drink more of the pink. For $20, I'll drink the 99% proof of the blue, which I fucking hate. And for $50, I'll eat the rest of all the scorpions. And there's like a lot of bits and pieces left. There is one body, but the rest is just freaking tails and legs. So, anyways,
I'm actually paying in pounds, British pounds.
Yeah, yes. And what I want to say right quick is, Saturday, I'm supposed to be performing for 420 at an outdoor stage, but there's supposed to be snow. So I may not be performing. So I won't be getting the $200 that I normally be getting from that show if that doesn't happen. That's the only reason why I'm pushing.
But you can always do like a Red Dead stream, maybe people will donate.
Well, I know. So we'll figure that out when we get closer to it. And yes, I'd like to do more gaming streams again.
And Slim,
so long.
You gotta play Red Dead with that British bastard.
Yeah, definitely.
That mouth is fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
I'll protect you. Look at my dog. R2 online badass. That's what I am.
Yes, awesome.
I'm only level 6.
We'll definitely play together and have lots of fun. Let's do a shot and then we'll get on crack on to the subjects. Bad one. Okay, here we blow. Woo, Jesus.
And most famous men in America. And then, in a matter of weeks, he lost everything.
I'm going to keep this fast. If it's too fast for everybody, let me know and I'll slow it down.
Big of a loser.
On the one hand, this is a story about a man who built...
Okay. It is pretty fast. I'm going to go ahead and slow it down. So here we blow.
...his fortune through lies and exploitation. Because before Barnum was a successful businessman and global celebrity, he scammed people out of their money by claiming he'd discovered mermaids, cavemen, and a 161-year-old woman.
But did he really scam people out of it, or did they want to? Anyways, we'll talk about it when we get
there. He sold half a fucking tuna to half a human being. That's scamming.
Well,
claimed it as a mermaid.
he literally did this in a certain atmosphere to where you should have known that this would have most likely been fake and or other things. It is for your entertainment and not it to be real.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, the guy was a genius. He just he just knew the pricks were and the gullible and
the only problem was is some of them said they were called. The only problem was is some of them were called museums. So. And that's where the scamming does.
Isn't there still a P.T. Barnum museum in America somewhere? I think California.
I think there's still maybe a handful of them. And then Ripley's Believe It or Nots. They have a lot.
That may be the one I'm thinking of, actually.
Yeah, and they're the ones that have a lot of his artifacts or fake versions of these thingy-mabobbers. So let's crack up.
And the truth is much darker and twisted than you may think. But on the other hand, this is also the story of an incredibly creative and hardworking entrepreneur who climbed all the way to the top, lost everything, and then rose from the ashes to become an even greater success. Eventually, Barnum became the world's greatest showman. He completely transformed the Great American Circus, and his spectacular performances were sought after by the likes of the Queen of England and the King of France. Barnum's journey as a showman is a master.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just let's.
Isn't Trump doing the same thing now? But hopefully that orange prick will not rise from any ashes.
Well, we're hoping that he's going to be jailed for violating the gag order that.
Breaching the gag order. No,
but I think they cannot not do that. Like, it's so fucking obvious that he did that.
It's political though. He wants to be in jail so he can fucking, he can rally his troops, the fucking MAGA movement.
Yeah, but like, if
he wants to be there,
if he wants to be in jail, then fucking kill someone.
Well, the thing is, you know what he did today? He literally today or last night or whatever, he threatened. Or they had Jesse Watters on Fox News technically threaten a juror because they said that everybody should be prosecuted in the same way. And so they actually leaked some of their info. And that definitely is a violation of the... So
he's not doing it, though. It's that, what's her face?
No, well...
A daft bitch. What's her name?
Well, it's Major Green Twat.
Laura Loomer. She's doing.
No,
she's
Laura Loomer.
She's posting all that.
Yeah, fuck Laura Loomer exactly.
And that Jesse Walker is just fucking. He dives on anything Trump, doesn't he? I want to live inside fucking Donald Trump's butt. Jesse Walker. He's just a dirty bastard. He's just a propaganda pushing prick.
Yeah, so anyways, let's begin on learning the history of Barnum.
Phineas Taylor Barnum was born in 1810 in a small farming town in Connecticut called Bethel, and as soon as he could stand on his own two
Connecticut.
feet, his family had him milking cows and plowing fields. But Phineas hated this kind of hard manual labor, so he always came up with clever excuses to avoid it, earning him a reputation as the laziest boy in town. In reality though, Phineas wasn't lazy as much as he was disinterested, because whenever there was...
I really don't believe that's a photo of him. I think it's way...
No, CGI.
But anyways, let's keep moving on.
Money to be earned, nobody could deny that Phineas worked with enthusiasm. For example, when Phineas's grandfather paid him 10 cents a day to plow the fields and take care of the animals, Phineas stacked his pennies day by day until eventually he was able to buy a few sheep of his own. Phineas got his next lesson in business when his father...
And that's when he got into the... Never mind. I'm sorry. I'll just stop there. I was going to say more, but I'll just...
Father gave him a job.
That's when he started renting out to the Scottish men in town. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
At his general store, where all kinds of different goods were sold. But in this shop, prices were negotiable, and people often traded in products they already had rather than paying in cash. And this meant some customers tried to cheat their way into a bargain by packing stones into wheat bags to make them seem heavier, or just...
That's exactly what I used to do, is I packed those stones in that wheat bag. Never mind, I'm sorry.
tricking Phineas into lowering his prices. So in the general store, Phineas quickly...
That's the whole letting the cat out of the bag. That's the whole letting the cat out of the bag thingy-mabobber, where you used to buy a chicken that was in a bag, and if the street vendor was trying to scam you, they would put cats in a bag or a small kitten in a bag, and then you wouldn't open until you got home, because why the fuck would you look in there? But that's why you're supposed to look in it.
Well, this is it. This is Joseph Smith all over, isn't it? He was obsessed with gold, and he used to go to farmers and say, "Oh, I can devour your land and tell you where gold is." And he used to get paid for that, and then fucking disappear forever until he got caught. But then he thought, so he opened up his own church, and then obviously the shit he found, all these scriptures of the Mormon Bible, were all on gold plate.
And then he looked through the. But anyways, yeah.
And he met Jesus in America, which made him the greatest America on earth.
Yeah, and the Native Americans were the first. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever that fucking. No, but what we're talking about, what they're talking about, yes. Did he do this? Not exactly. But anyways, let's just crack on with him figuring out a way to wheel and deal. That's what happened with him at a young age, just like you would if you learned how to be you were taught how to be a carny or a carnival worker or somebody who worked games or something like that. It is to figure out a way to talk people in and out of things. And that's where I got in a lot of trouble is my tongue works very fast. And it's gotten me in a lot of trouble. Anyways, let's blow on.
He learned the art of persuasion. And by the time he was 12, he was a clever salesman who saw every situation as an opportunity to negotiate. Phineas continued honing his skills at the general store through his teenage years, but in 1826, his father tragically passed away. Now, Phineas's father had tried his luck in many different businesses. Aside from the general store, he tried tailoring, farming, running stables, a tavern, and even operating a delivery wagon.
So if you were the child of somebody who's run through all of these different occupations, you've got fucking a bunch of things under your wing that you fucking understand and know and have been, you know what I'm saying? So even if you didn't run these and you were the child of it, you still saw a lot of this stuff going on.
However, none of these ventures were ever very profitable, so when he passed away, the Barnum family was left drowning in debts, and Phineas had to take a job at another nearby store. This time though, the store wasn't paying him much, so Phineas had to get creative in order to make some money for himself and his struggling family. And thus, Phineas decided to host a lottery at the new store, and he promoted it heavily to make sure it was successful. He said, without promotion, something terrible happens. Nothing. So, Phineas ran all around Bethel, posting flyers that read Magnificent Lottery, and he even claimed that every ticket came with a reward. Because of this, his advertising...
Yeah, I'll give you a kick in the ass every time you fucking lose. Never mind, it's still a reward, right? Never mind, I'm just kidding.
Advertising campaign was a success, and people flocked into the general store to buy his lottery tickets.
Exactly.
But how was Phineas going to make any money if he had to give every participant a prize? Well, the store Phineas worked at had a few items which the owner just couldn't find a way to sell. So Phineas took these items and traded them in bulk for a whole wagon of glass bottles. And thus, every time someone bought a lottery ticket, they did indeed get a prize. Except it wasn't cash like they'd expected. Instead, they won a shiny new glass bottle. If they were extra...
Oh my god, I get a glass bottle? Oh my gosh, give me fucking 5 more tickets. No, I'm just kidding. But that's exactly the thing. It's wordplay. Once again, did you read the fine print? No, and that's what made him genius, and that's what he figured out a long time ago, is wordplay in advertisement, and that's where he got everybody. Like, there was a trailer, and outside of it, it said the paid blah 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 to see the world's largest bat, right?
Oh, Slim, I know he's a fellow carny, you're trying to protect him now, but P.T. Barnum was a lying, scamming, dirty cunt. End the story.
Well, sure. Well, let's get into how bad he was, but what did he do for the people that worked for him? That's different. because he actually made a bunch of people rich and famous that worked for him. But yes, that's exactly
Hugh Jackman.
the thing.
Hugh Jackman, he made he made a few quid on P.T. Barnum.
Well, the problem
Wolverine.
the problem he had is when all of his museums burned down, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. But he did revive himself, like they say, like a phoenix from the ashes. But let's blow on. Who doesn't want a shiny new glass bottle? I'm just kidding. With nothing in it. I'm just kidding. Nobody.
Well,
anyways,
well,
let's blow on.
yeah, you can do some fun things with that. Just make sure it doesn't break. Never mind.
Well, back in them days, you could take them to a store and cash them in, couldn't you?
No, there wasn't recycling yet.
Oh.
I don't think that. I think that was before that time. Anyways, it's kind of weird. There's nobody that has commented in the Cyberman chat since I put up the PayPal. But anyways, let's crack on.
Bloody bastards.
With this, because normally y'all are just jumping down our throats with all kinds of fun things and facts and other things. But anyways, let's blow on.
Extra lucky, they could win up to 5. So Phineas's lottery was a blatant hoax. But it was so successful that after a few months, he decided to open his own general store and continue running lotteries there, although this time with actual cash prizes. At first, Phineas only ran lotteries in Bethel, but when the business grew as much as the town could manage, he partnered up with statewide lotteries and recruited agents to sell tickets in 5 other towns. And for every lottery, Phineas used his remarkable talent for advertising.
Yeah, because what's one of the biggest fucking scams in the fucking world is motherfucking lotteries. Lotteries are the fucking biggest scam. Just like certain.
Well, if you win. Oh, if you win.
Yeah, well, no, but that's 1 in a gazillion. You know what I'm saying? It's just like going to a casino.
No, it's not. It's 50-50. It's 2 to 1, the lottery.
That depends on how many tickets are sold.
No, yeah. It's still 2 to 1. It'll always be 2 to 1. Either you'll win or you fucking won't. 2 to 1.
But but that's technically no.
That's not how that works. That's not how any of that works.
It's 1 in a million, or 1 in a gazillion, or 1 in a 69 trillion.
That's 50-50. Either you win or you fucking don't.
Well, that's the whole thing about, like, I don't even understand why people fucking play that roulette wheel bullshit. Like, the odds for you to get. Well, sure, but if you look at the odds, if you actually understand the concept
but like,
I don't know you, but my glasses always are fucking full. So
sure,
don't go to the casino to win. Go to the casino to play.
Yeah, but that's the difference between fucking weirdos that think they're gonna fucking win it. When I go to the casino, I bring like a certain amount of money. I leave my fucking credit cards and well, I don't have any of those, but my debit card. I leave everything else somewhere, and I only have a certain amount of money on me. And that's all that I'm gonna fucking spend. So it's just for that time to do it. Like, I'm not here to win because I know I'm gonna fucking lose, because the house always wins. That's exactly the thing about Mavaba. What's going on with this?
That's the thing. They're in every club and bar in the UK, or pub. You call them bars or whatever. But these fruit machines or slot machines or one-arm bandits, I don't know what you call them.
Totally. Yeah,
it's just a box full of lights and wheels, and you put money in, and they didn't make them to give you money. They're not ATMs. They're there to take you.
And they're made to give you an endorphin rush. They're really made for you to like have an orgasm without having an orgasm. Technically,
but the house always wins.
But the house always wins. That's exactly what you got to remember when you're going into these things. Just like if you take your family into a carnival, circus, sideshow, anything like that, you're just throwing money at the whole experience, because you're literally going to lose money the whole fucking time. It is set up just like a casino for you to lose, because the house always wins.
Well, that's the secret. If you can walk into a casino with $1 and walk out with £100,000, the secret is never go back. That's the secret.
Well, totally. Every time
the rush makes them go back. give the money
no,
back.
but like it's just a little bit of fun. But like if you can see it as just having fun and not going there to make money, because there's people go there to try and make money.
Yeah.
When I went to Vegas,
like with my ex, we would go to the casino quite often, and like we both bring 50 euros with us, and like, and every now and then, if it was a bit fast, I'm like, we'll put a little bit more in. But usually with 50 euros, we could do all night, including having a drink.
Why 50 euros? For $10, you can eat and drink for free in Vegas. All you need to do is play the 1 cent machines, and the drink is actually bought to you. You play them 1 cent machines with a jackpot of $1 million. They cost 1 penny. I mean, you can't go wrong. You get free drinks, and if you're on it for so long, they'll give you a meal. They'll give you a meal voucher as well, so you can eat and drink for free in Vegas. Easy.
It's not exactly that easy anymore, but
it was. Well, it was when I went. It was the 90s.
But like
it's a lot different, but it's still almost. But let's.
But like here, like if you would go like to a bar and like have a night of drinking, you'd probably also spend like $50.
No, exactly. So
because you drink a lot more.
No, totally.
But like we'd go to the casino and like we spent about the same amount of money for a night out. So totally.
And you had
and we go to play a game to have some fun.
Yes, exactly. And every once in a blue moon. And every once in a blue moon, you'll walk out worth a couple $100 maybe. Because as soon as I win,
sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose. Sometimes you go home and you think like, oh wait, I actually haven't spent anything. You know, like
no. But the thing is when I would win, something, I would just close out and be like, cool, I'm going to walk home with $200 now. So I had fun for actually $200 that I made. But anyways, let's blow on with this. And,
that's it. Yeah. The thing is, you keep walking. That's when you've made. Because most people will go, fucking hell, I went in with 10
I'm going to try to double down.
I've got $500. I'm going to go back and see if I can make this $500. It's 10,000. But it never works.
Yeah. No, and then you end up
but like I never did that. And of course, like you win some, and then it's like, let's see if we can make more out of it. But like, just for the fun, like I'm not going there with money I can't miss. You know?
Yes, exactly.
It's the same as if you trade in stock. Don't ever do that with money you cannot miss. Only do that with money you can miss. Like. Yeah.
Yes.
Or don't buy any of Trump media.
Yeah, do not put your fucking stock in any of the fucking Truth Social. It's definitely going to be gone in the next 6 months. Anyways, let's blow on.
Here in the UK, we have to. These people, these bookmakers, or betting on horses and dogs and whatever you can bet on. These bookmakers. I think they have to put out an advert, even with casinos, gambling awareness and things like that.
Yeah.
Because people do go fucking literally sell, they literally gamble everywhere. They get addicted to it.
Yeah. And
all through the wins.
Yeah. And the other thing we've come to find out through marketing research is those advertisements make people want to gamble more. Because you don't think about gambling until you see that advertisement that says, "Hey, call this number." Anyways, let's blow on.
To fill the newspapers, and sometimes his agents were able to pull close to $2,000 in daily ticket sales. Seeing how successful this was, Phineas started his own newspaper called the Herald of Freedom, where he could advertise his lotteries even more. However, Phineas was barely 21, and owning his own newspaper gave him more power than he was able to manage responsibly. Sometimes, instead of promoting his own business, he used the newspaper to spread rumors about others. As a result, Phineas was sued for libel 4 times, once by his own uncle, and one of these lawsuits turned out to have very drastic consequences. You see, Phineas published an article accusing a local of loaning money to an orphan at highly unfair interest rates, but they subsequently sued him and won the case. So Phineas was faced with a choice. He could either pay $100 in fines and court costs, or he could spend 60 days in jail. And to the surprise of everyone, Phineas chose jail. For the 2 months he was behind bars, Phineas was the talk of the town. In fact, some came to see him as a local hero for calling things out that seemed unfair. And when he was released from prison, Phineas was met by a huge crowd of people and a marching band. What unfolded was basically a big celebration, where a powerful speech was given defending freedom of the press, and Phineas...
I think he did a bunch of promotions to get this to happen. I don't think it just happened organically.
No.
So
yeah, but like that's a good calculated move that he made.
Yeah,
becoming
totally,
a martyr.
Totally, if he did.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Well, he was
but-
either
so-
very clever or the ultimate tight ass.
or both.
Well, this
No,
is
but
a
Slim-
great,
but
this
Slim,
is a
can-
great promotion.
Next time, can you find something from a different channel? The way
Why?
that
What?
fucker talks.
I don't know.
Like,
I'm not
every little sentence is so important.
I get you, but we did speed it up a little bit, so it may
Yeah.
just kind of be that as well. But let's get through.
brainless erasure.
Phineas was then paraded through town. But of course, celebration events don't just get planned by themselves. And so, even though Phineas let people assume this was all spontaneous, Phineas had obviously set up the event himself, as he'd still been able to write letters whilst in prison. Why did he do that? Well, by now, Phineas had learned the power of capturing attention. And because of the tremendous
And that's exactly what I said.
spectacle Phineas put on, he was hated by those who opposed him and regarded as a hero by everyone else. In the end, though, Phineas wasn't concerned with people's individual opinions of him, because the result was all the same. He had everyone's attention. As the most famous man in town, his lottery business took on more customers than ever before. However, in 1834, everything changed, as the state of Connecticut banned lotteries.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh dear.
Hey, Jasper.
Overnight, Phineas's business completely collapsed, and all of his success
Hey,
was
Jasper.
suddenly gone. As a
Hey,
result,
Jasper.
he was forced to find a whole new line of work. And yet, this setback would put
Hey,
Phineas
warm
on an
boots.
even more ambitious path,
And this
to
is
become
where we get
the
to the
world's
next.
greatest showman.
Yep.
Probably also a title that he gave himself.
Yeah. Ta-da!
Probably.
When Phineas was 24, he moved to New York City to seek his fortune. His first business was a grocery store, and one of his customers told him a wild story. You see, this customer ran a traveling show where the main attraction was Joyce Heth, an enslaved woman who claimed to be 161 years old. She also claimed that more than 100 years ago, she'd been a nurse to George Washington, the United States' first president. The customer had sold his share of the act though, and he told Phineas that his former partner was looking for a buyer. When Phineas heard this, he couldn't resist the opportunity and went to see Joyce for himself. Once he did, he was impressed.
Yes, and so this is the beginning of all
The
of
end.
the gaffes.
Was it,
Joyce was totally blind, toothless, and one of her arms
Oh, that's a great photo or image of her.
was
Wouldn't it
paralyzed.
just-
And yet, despite
wouldn't it just appeal to like 5-year-olds when you ask them, how old's your mum? Oh, 250 years old or whatever. Really
Yeah.
old. I mean, it's
Well,
it.
during
This is the
time,
gullible.
people- Yeah, of course. But during this time, people only lived to 30 to maybe 50 years old in the Americas, in the Wild West, and through different parts of the Americas because it was so fucking harsh. But anyways, let's go on with this. And none of this was true. Actually, she could see, she had teeth, and she was not paralyzed. But let's crack on.
this, she talked endlessly about how she'd raised her dear little George and enthusiastically sang songs about him. Of course, Joyce wasn't 161 years old and she never knew George Washington. But according to Phineas, she might as well have been called 1,000 years old. It was quite convincing. and Joyce's owner produced a very old-looking yellow document that supposedly verified all this. Now, Phineas would have been well aware this was fake, but back then, curious human exhibits were common in America, and Phineas saw this as a golden opportunity. So he played along with the fantasy and agreed a deal to exhibit Joyce for 7 months, all for just $1,000. It's an unthinkable concept nowadays. Phineas was basically renting this elderly disabled slave and putting her up for
Well, it's not the perfect way to say that when you hire somebody to work for you. Are you
No,
renting them?
he paid their owner.
Yeah, if she didn't get a wage, then
Did they say that? Did they say that he paid somebody else?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what he
I'm
said.
I'm sorry. I missed that. So, yes. I think later he started paying her, but we'll get into that right now.
a display so he could make money. But back then, slavery was still legal in some states, and even though it wasn't legal in New York, where Phineas was, Joyce's owner was in Kentucky, and so through a loophole, Phineas was essentially able to rent Joyce.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All Phineas had to do now was put on a good show, and he used the same strategy as when he ran lotteries: advertise like crazy. Phineas commissioned exaggerated drawings of Joyce and produced more certificates that supposedly verified her story. Ads were also created declaring that she was the greatest natural curiosity in the world. But the real stroke of genius was when Phineas gave a private showing of her act to the newspapers and paid them more than $200 to back up the ridiculous claims about her. Sure enough, the newspapers were immediately filled with announcements calling Joyce a greater star than any other performer of the present day. As a result, for the first public performance in New York, huge crowds showed up and all the tickets were sold. But best of all for Phineas, Joyce really was an excellent performer who sold the story well. So after just 2 weeks, Phineas had made $3,000 from the show, but he was always watching the crowd closely. Whenever he saw attendance fall even slightly from its peak, he ran off to another city instead to keep the demand high, and Phineas kept advertising the show even if he wasn't around at the time, so this way, if he ever returned to a place, there was always a reliable supply of customers waiting for his acts. However,
yeah, because you can only do a show for people for so long in an area until they get bored of it, and so you literally have to keep traveling. That's why I travel so much or do so many shows in different places.
If there was any need for Action Bastard, it is now. Action Bastard, we need you to stop P.T. Barnum, portraying ugly women, ugly old women who are probably in their late 50s on the stage.
Yes. But luckily, well, hold on. Let's see what they say. I'm the best in my knowledge. She did get bought by him, and then he gave her freedom, and she was able to buy her own home and care for her grandchildren as well. But let's crack on and see what they say about this.
Although this worked for a while, after doing endless shows, eventually demand did start to drop. And since Phineas still had months left on his contract for Joyce, he had to get creative. A few days later, newspapers started claiming that Joyce wasn't a 161-year-old woman. In fact, she wasn't human at all. Instead, the newspapers now claimed that she was a curiously constructed automaton.
But who started that rumor? I don't know. Here we go.
Of course, it was actually Phineas behind this move. By creating doubt around Joyce's story, the act drew even more attention, and even those who had already been to the show came rushing back to see if this was true. However, after Joyce died in 1836, Phineas did something even more controversial. Phineas sold tickets for one final show, Joyce's autopsy, where a doctor would prove once and for all the facts of her identity. So even after she was dead, Phineas was still making money. In the end, the doctors concluded that Joyce wasn't an automaton, and she couldn't have been any older than 80. But Phineas avoided getting called a con artist by claiming he'd been duped like everyone else. The Joyce Heth show made Phineas more than $10,000 in profits, which is about $330,000 today. However, now that she was dead, Phineas was forced to find a new way to earn a living once again. And now that he'd had success with his traveling show, it was time to take things to an even stranger level.
Yeah, we're going into mermaid territory now, aren't we?
pretty much.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna get into him finding people with oddities first, and then we'll go into that.
What, bearded ladies and with horns?
Well, the thing is he has the museums first, and then he starts bringing in other things. And I think the museum doesn't have the mermaid for a hot second, but we'll see.
Phineas worked with jugglers, dancers, and even learned magic tricks. But for 6 long years, he couldn't find any act that matched his initial success. In his autobiography, he wrote, "I began to realize that I was at the very bottom of fortune's ladder, and that I had now arrived at an age where it was necessary to make one grand effort to raise myself." Thankfully, the opportunity of his lifetime finally came when he heard that the American Museum in New York was looking to sell its collection. Now, the collection had steadily lost value for over a decade, and it was now valued at just $15,000. But this was still way more than Phineas could afford. So, he persuaded the owner of the museum's building to buy the collection for him, promising to pay him back month by month. Taking on this enormous debt meant that Phineas absolutely had to make the American Museum a success, so he got to work immediately. The museum had a vast collection of curiosities, including animals, plants, paintings, automations, mummies, and even shows with magicians and ventriloquists. There was definitely some good stuff inside the museum, but Phineas knew none of it mattered if people didn't find out about it. So, Phineas decorated the outside of the building with international flags, commissioned massive animal paintings to hang from the roof, and of course, he flooded the newspapers with advertisements. And business was going well. But a few months in, Phineas saw an opportunity for a new star attraction, as a museum owner from out of town came to Phineas with the petrified remains of what he claimed was a mermaid. Phineas kept a serious demeanor, but he could immediately tell that this was really the lower half of a fish sewn together with the upper half of a small monkey. It was an ugly sight to say the least. But Phineas's imagination ran wild with advertising ideas, and so he couldn't resist renting it out. He gave it the alluring name of the Fiji Mermaid, and advertised it with drawings that looked nothing like the actual exhibit. When people got to see it, a small national debate about the authenticity of the mermaid broke out, and of course, Phineas was ecstatic. The more people doubted it, the more attention this created for the American Museum. You see, even though most of Phineas's advertising highlighted the wildest and most deceiving exhibits in the museum, like the Fiji Mermaid, he didn't feel guilty about lying to the public. This was because in his mind, even if people came to the museum hoping to see a mermaid, their disappointment would be completely overshadowed by the thousands of other exhibits the museum had to offer. In the end, visiting the American Museum was not only entertaining, but also educational. And if a bit of creative advertising was needed to pull people in, Phineas saw no problem with running a fun little ruse like this one. Phineas's promotions were enough to take the museum's revenue from around 10.
I don't know if that's exactly the way that I was told was the reason why you don't feel guilty about running a bunch of or having a museum with a bunch of gaffes or whatever is because the people know that they are going to be fooled. Or maybe not that far back they were into that, but a lot of it was
he went back on the road after this, didn't he? He went back on the road and had a load of I don't know what you call them now. I suppose it's like Big Brother is today. Just he had people like the Pillow Man was one of his, wasn't he? A guy with probably the most independent person ever on the planet. He used to roll his own cigarettes just with his mouth.
The Snake Man or the something. Anyways,
the Pillow Man they called him. Yeah.
Well, sure. I know who you're talking about. The black gentleman that did.
Yeah, he had no arms, no legs, but
he the really cool stuff.
Got away, he ate, and he was so independent, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah. And a lot of these people did make a lot of money off of being exhibited. Yes, people did get exploited, but a lot of times, especially once Barnum and Bailey went to the traveling circus aspect, which we'll look at in a minute once this museum burns to the ground, and that's what caused him to travel. Then he helped a lot of people make money, and even the lady that we were talking about earlier, he helped her make sure she was set with her family before she died.
$10,000 the year before to almost $28,000. So in just a year and a half, Phineas was able to pay back the collection in its entirety. By now, he was fully dedicated to making the museum a massive success. But the only way to do that was to get repeat customers. So he decided to switch up his strategy. Over the years, Phineas had learned that his greatest talent was showmanship. So he decided to turn the museum into the stage for a variety of exciting performances. And he was about to meet the star that would propel him to global fame.
Yes, so if every single day you have a stage full of performers at a certain time or for a couple hours, then you have people that are going to come through the museum to get to the stage, and that's exactly what the 10-in-1 became, is paying a price to go into a place, seeing everything, and then getting to the end and seeing all of the attractions with one price. And
can I just say you missed a trick there, Slim? You should have just posted one of your freak shows on there, swallowing swords and dressed as Waldo and whatnot. That's where you should have posted it right now.
Right now.
The guy that made Barnum money, Slim the Cyborg.
Exactly. Yeah. So
that would be some clever advertising.
Let's go a little bit more, and then we'll do our palate cleanser. I almost wanted to do the palate cleanser, but we'll do it in a minute.
I
want to get further through this.
In late 1842, Phineas met Charlie Stratton, a 4-year-old boy with dwarfism. At only around 25 inches tall, Charlie's head barely surpassed Phineas's knees. And this gave Phineas an idea. Phineas offered Charlie's family $3 a week plus expenses for him to perform at the museum for a month. He gave him the stage name General Tom Thumb, and advertised him as if he was 11 years old, so that his short height would seem even more impressive. During that first month, Phineas spent days and nights training Charlie to perform on stage. And to his surprise, Charlie was a natural entertainer. Even at 4 years old, he could memorize scripts, songs, and dance routines incredibly quickly. And he even added his own comments to the material Phineas provided him. Together, they developed a routine where Charlie imitated the infamous Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte. And the newspapers all had glowing reviews for him. Phineas himself wrote, "He is so graceful."
I always thought that he was supposed to be the cousin of his, but I guess not. I don't know. I always read that he was the cousin of Barnum.
So intelligent, so wonderfully diminutive, that all who see him are charmed with him at once. Given this initial success, Phineas raised Charlie's pay to $7 a week, then to $25, and it just kept increasing from there. Everyone seemed to love.
And at like 12, 13 years old, he was attending parties because they were claiming that he was a lot older than he was. People were giving him booze, drugs, and cigarettes and all that kind of stuff as a child because they were passing him off as being a lot older than he was.
Of General Tom Thumb's iconic Napoleon routine. So sure enough, the masses began flooding into the American
he
music.
was, so 5 years older.
Yeah, but surely dwarfism has been going back from the beginning of human history. There's been these people that have grown up short, but
absolutely.
He's totally exploited I have to admit, he did exploit these poor people. Well, I didn't say poor people. He gave them a good wage, to be fair.
Like with this, it's
bollocks.
He said it, Slim. He said it. He said it.
I'm a wanker. I'm a wanker.
To be fair. To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
To be fair.
Why is it used to be? Because usually in the end they sing it. To be fair.
I don't know. That's the same thing that we had before. Anyways, let's crack on a little bit more with this.
And Phineas began perfecting the strategy behind his promotion. You see, Phineas constantly advertised that Charlie would be leaving for another city soon, which created a huge sense of urgency to buy tickets. Of course, many of these departure dates were lies. But either way, the fear of missing out on the performance meant that by 1844, nearly 500,000 people had come to see General Tom Thumb. Eventually though, the day came where Phineas and Charlie did
Jesus,
leave,
that's
but
insane.
not to a nearby city. Instead, they were going to England with a singular goal in mind, to give a show to Queen Victoria herself. So after finding a manager for the museum, they were off to England. However, when Phineas and Charlie arrived, there was no guarantee that the English public would take a liking to General Tom Thumb, much less that they were going to get an audience with the Queen. And in fact, the start of their campaign was not an immediate success, as dwarf acts were already common there, and the English public were not so keen on paying the equivalent of 25 cents, when they were used to paying less than half that for entertainment shows. But after 2 months of constantly improving Charlie's act, booking more shows, and making connections, Phineas was able to secure a spot at the prestigious London hotel where Charlie could perform daily. The performances caused such an uproar with the English public that the Queen personally requested that Phineas and Charlie give her a private audience, just like Phineas had hoped. Phineas cancelled their shows for the day and announced General Tom Thumb was at Buckingham Palace on Her Majesty's orders. Charlie, who was barely 6 years old at the time, gave an impressive performance for the royal family, striking his classic Napoleon poses and even getting into a playful fight with one of the Queen's poodles. And Phineas knew that after an audience with the Queen, demand for their show would be higher than ever. But just to boost demand even further,
can you imagine being 6 years old and performing for the Queen? That's fucking insane.
Yeah, but Barnum is sought after. Well, he's actually, the Victorian freak show was coined by P.T. Barnum in England. I'll give him that.
Yeah. But he may have not been exactly as young as they're saying here. He may have been a lot older. We don't know exactly how old he
absolutely.
was. Yeah. So he could be 16 at this time. He could be that age or whatever. But anyways, let's blow on.
Phineas did his signature advertising trick.
Yeah.
He announced that General Tom Thumb would soon be leaving England, even though he wasn't. So once again, people rushed to buy tickets. Charlie continued performing 3 times every day, and in the 4 months he was in England, Phineas made over $300,000 from the act, more than $12 million today. However, just as Phineas felt on top of the world, he got some very tragic news. His youngest daughter, not even 2 years old, had passed away. In the journal that Phineas kept at the time, he only mentioned his daughter's death one time and never again. But he was clearly devastated and tried to avoid his grief by diving deeper into his work. For the next 2 years, Phineas and Charlie, who became 50-50 partners, traveled all around Europe hosting shows for everyone from peasant farmers to the King of France. And by the end, when they returned to America in 1847, both of them had become extremely wealthy. Not just that, but during his years in Europe, Phineas had also been writing a weekly journal and publishing it back in America. This had become hugely popular, so when he returned, Phineas was basically a national celebrity. Meanwhile, the American Museum was making more money in a single day than it used to make in a week. With all this fame and wealth, Phineas had planned to take a break and spend more time with his family. But then quite suddenly, his life went in a very different direction.
And here's the fires.
Slim.
What?
We're about halfway, so I think that's a good spot for a palate cleanser.
Sure, let's do a palate cleanser.
I didn't have to remind you of that, didn't I? I had to remind you of something at least.
Yeah. Okay, so here
I don't remember what. What?
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Here we blow.
Ooh. Here we blowjob? Nice.
Yes. So here is how to walk on broken glass.
And today he's got broken glass. So is that bottle to take the edge off?
It's gonna be. I do like that.
Somebody had to drink all this.
You ever stepped on a Lego accident
you know, you're kind of walking around. And then, yeah, it hurts.
Yeah.
Well, this is the glass. Now, you know what we could.
I've stepped on Lego.
I want you to walk first, and then I'm going to come back and show you how it works.
fun.
And then I'll have you walk again. Fair enough?
This is trust.
Okay,
you know?
that's like
real glass.
These are real broken beer bottles, and a couple other jars and some things like that. Okay, you ready? Nothing has been prepared on your feet. You're going to be just fine. You just have to trust yourself. Oh, listen to this.
Oh my gosh,
Listen
it's
to this.
crunchy.
Got it
Sounds good.
crunchy.
Thank
Good.
goodness I got a
Keep going. You're
pedicure.
there. Now go backwards a little bit. Now crunch back and forth. Just going to walk back and forth. You're really breaking the glass underneath
I
your
cannot
Now,
believe
now
this
give me a
right
jump.
Yeah.
Ready? Give me a jump. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy? Okay, walk backwards. Now I'm gonna make sure that it's off of your feet. Ready? Here we
Yep.
go.
That's
Off
what you
your
got to
feet.
do. Make sure it's
Back.
off your feet
And-
before.
Yeah, those small little things
So-
can get stuck in your foot.
When we get to where he puts the balloon
Roll
in
it
it.
back and forth. Try it, Gary. Roll it back and forth. Is that crazy? Push
Does
down.
not.
Go ahead, push. Push.
Yeah.
See? So when you're really stepping on it, you really are just moving that glass around and you're distributing your weight. So that's crazy.
It's just like sand on a beach. Everything you step on it kind of moves out of the way because the sand is underneath and is going to give and flow.
Are you saying your show is a sham?
No.
I heard a poop.
The way that I do the thingy
I
and
heard a
bobbers
boop.
is a lot different than just the way that they did it. I jump on it way more, and but the broken glass, just like most of what we do, is we're just using physics to the best of our advantage to show you things. It's all real. It's just, does it hurt as much as your brain is wanting you to think it is? Probably not. But that's
Well,
the whole thing.
I stepped on a Lego before, and that fucking hurts.
But that's one little thing. Like with the glass, I believe the trick is having so much of it that it can move out of the way. And
And then you have layers of it as well.
Yeah.
So there's a whole physics thing. Hey Al, how are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
Good. Okay, so
Hi, Al.
let's blow back into what we were
Greatest
watching.
con man on earth.
Yes, and
no, that's the greatest con man in the world is Trump. He's
Yeah,
a
the
con
second
man.
greatest con man on earth. My bad.
BT has been surpassed. He's been
Absolutely.
surpassed.
so I'm gonna get into this part of it. Jesus Christ! Hold on. I have to present that, right? I mean, that's how that works. So I
Yeah,
have to show
that's
it.
usually what you need to do.
Okay. All right, here we blow. So here's the fire I was talking about.
Now that Phineas owned the American Museum again, he hosted a grand reopening featuring his signature style of exhibits, one of which was the supposed missing link in the evolutionary chain between man and monkey. Phineas called it Zip the Pinhead, and said the creature had been captured in Africa. However, it was really just an extremely hairy man who had a disease which caused his head to taper at the top.
Yeah.
Phineas dressed him in a furry suit, and had him in a cage where he was told to screech and rattle the bars. He advertised it as the What Is It? Now, some people think this was an example of Phineas being back up to his old exploitative tricks, as some reported that Zip, whose real name was William Henry Johnson, was mentally handicapped.
But behind closed doors, and if they don't talk about it, he actually spoke very eloquently. He could speak multiple languages as well. This was just an act. This literally was just an
Yeah,
act.
he just looked weird.
But he was very much in on the act and got extremely wealthy from it, and thus
Yeah,
he
he
actually
did.
enjoyed
He
working
made a
with
crap ton of
Phineas.
money.
Either way, Phineas was selling museum tickets like crazy. Phineas also recruited more performers with dwarfism, one of which Charlie fell in love with. A few months later, they got married and went on tour together with Phineas's help. So things once again all seem to be going well for Phineas and his performers. But when the Civil War broke out in 1861, Phineas put on a number of patriotic, war-themed plays, and displayed wax figures depicting famous Union generals. Despite having essentially rented a slave when he worked with Joyce Heth, Phineas had now changed his views and was openly pro-Union, and believed slavery should be outlawed. So Phineas heavily publicized his political opinions, hoping to attract people into the museum. But for once, not all publicity was good publicity for Phineas, as his political statements attracted the wrong kind of attention in 1864 when Confederate agents sparked a fire in the American Museum. Fortunately though, the fire was contained by the museum's employees and no one was hurt. But just a few months later, another fire erupted inside the museum, and this time, within half an hour, the entire building was engulfed in flames. Phineas's life work was burning before his eyes. Some people had to jump out of the museum's windows in order to save themselves, and after about an hour, the museum's roof collapsed. The main walls fell shortly after. Whilst all of the humans escaped, thousands of animals inside the museum were tragically trapped in.
Yeah, and so that was that part of it. But let's get into the greatest show of...
What animals? Were these animals that he painted like pink and things like that?
He supposedly had zebras and mules and things that were in cages inside the building. I don't fucking know. I don't understand
Got
it.
a green and blue zebra.
Well, sure. I don't know, but they literally had living animals inside of these places. They even would like put seals and other things, hippos in these like water tanks, and they'd go through like 10 of them in a fucking year because they would die so often because that's not how they're supposed to fucking live. Anyways, let's crack on with
Phineas had decided to fully retire after his museum burned down for the second time in 1868. But after writing a second edition of his autobiography, he concluded that he wasn't made for an idle life and chose to make some investments in show business. So Phineas got in contact with some of his former employees who were planning to start a traveling circus. And with Phineas's name attached to the project, it would surely be a success. They called it Barnum's Traveling World's Fair. Phineas would own 2/3 of the show and pocket 3% of its profits in exchange for his investment and his talent for finding acts. He quickly got to work amassing a host of curiosities, ranging from giants and conjoined twins to elephants, camels, and Egyptian mummies. Technically though, this was only an investment. Phineas wasn't obligated to travel with the crew, and once everything was set up, he had no reason to get involved in operating the circus. But after 2 years of retirement, getting back to work sparked his passion for show business again, and he poured all his energy into helping the circus. And it was lucky he did, as they had one particular issue that threatened to bankrupt the whole project. You see, the circus was going to be an operational nightmare. It would take some next level coordination to care for the animals, promote the show, keep track of the finances, and manage more than 1,000 employees. The most complicated challenge was going to be moving everything and everyone, because it was basically like moving a small town from one place to another in just a few days. If Phineas didn't find a way to solve this, the delays between one performance and the next would be too big, and the production...
And they're probably not gonna mention this, but the U.S. Army actually came to him and asked him, how the fuck do you fucking put up the whole city and then tear it down in a couple days and then move it fucking thousands of miles and then put it up and he's like, here, watch this. And so the Army actually was using the way that he had figured out how to put up all of these things, a mess hall, a rest, the cooks and all that stuff, and be able to feed 1,000 people and all that stuff. They literally, the American government went and
then were born these mega churches, which are massive big circus tents anyway.
Oh yes.
Well, at least they also got a lot of clowns.
That's a little bit different, but anyways, yes.
They speak differently.
Would miss out on hundreds of thousands of dollars it desperately needed to become profitable. So, just...
I heard a boot.
Yes. Hey, Commander, how are you doing?
Howdy.
All right.
Hey, Commander. I bet you got
Glad
a shitload
I could make it.
Yes.
Yep. I'm outside Washington.
Outside of who's Washington? Oh, never
I bet
mind,
you got a crap load to
DC.
say, though.
Yeah. Okay,
Go on,
anyways,
carry on.
Let me get the last 10 minutes I was busy setting up.
Okay.
Don't worry, Brainless will edit it out for the mainstream.
What? Me? Editing? What?
anyways, let's crack on with the rest of this
I'm busy.
of where the traveling stuff began happening with him, because we were talking about him being stationary and now he's the traveling version of it.
Solve this issue, Phineas proposed an ambitious solution. They would transport the entire circus via 65 railroad cars. It wasn't going to be easy, as this meant creating a standard procedure to unload the entire circus from the trains, set it up for performance, and pack it back up in an efficient way. And if people didn't coordinate themselves perfectly, it would take way too long. Sure enough, their first attempt was a disaster, with elephants running loose and people losing track of their possessions. It took 12 hours to get the circus into the train cars, which was far too much time in order to get to a nearby city quickly. But Phineas decided to keep trying the strategy, and by the next attempt, it seemed that everyone, including the animals, were getting the hang of this new process. This meant that the circus could now wrap up their show in one city and be ready to resume it just 24 hours later in another one. So the circus was able to greatly increase the number of tickets it could sell every year. It was still a costly endeavor though. The company spent $5,000 every day just to keep the show running. But according to Phineas, by the circus's third year in 1872, its profits surpassed the 1 million mark. That's more than $25 million in today's money. For 7 years, Barnum's Traveling World's Fair was the premier entertainment show in America. During those years, Phineas also got involved in other entertainment productions and even became the mayor of Bridgeport, Connecticut for some time. However, by 1880, a rival was threatening to take their spot as the #1 circus in America. Its name was the Great London Circus, and it was run by James Bailey. And James's ability as a showman almost came close to that of Phineas. James had run a publicity campaign announcing that the Great London Circus had the first American-born elephant. When Phineas offered to buy it from James for $100,000, James declined the offer and instead publicized Phineas's offer in advertisements as a way to promote the Great London Circus. Essentially, he was using one of Phineas's usual tricks to ridicule him and publicize the Great London Circus at the same time. Soon, the Great London Circus was booking events in the same cities as Phineas's circus and often outselling it. So Phineas knew he was up against a worthy competitor, but instead of trying to outcompete them, Phineas approached James with a proposal to combine the two circuses into one. After some tough negotiations, Phineas and James agreed to split the costs and earnings 50-50. And thus, instead of two competing circuses, there was now just one totally dominant circus, which they called Barnum and London Circus. Together, Phineas and James spent months preparing for the grand opening. They gathered all sorts of animals, including tigers, zebras, leopards, elephants, and they planned the most breathtaking performances, with everything from magicians to trapeze artists to sword swallowers. It was also the first 3-ring circus with 3 acts going on at the same time. It was an event like no one had ever seen, and the new circus went on tour around the country. In 1882, the new circus returned $600,000 in profits, more than $15 million today. Phineas also managed to buy an exceptionally large 7-ton elephant called Jumbo, which helped the circus's popularity soar to even higher levels than Phineas had thought possible. Together, Phineas and James were an unstoppable force. They eventually created a new and improved circus show called The Greatest Show on Earth, and they were determined to live up to the name. They invested close to $3 million to make this shared dream come true as they continued to improve the show even more. After years of exceptional performances and exceptional profits, Phineas was 79 years old, and still just as energetic about his work as ever. He and James decided to take the circus to London, along with over 1,200 performers and hundreds of circus animals. In London, Phineas was received with open arms as a returning hero. At this point in his 60-year-long career as a showman, people came to the circus to see him as much as they did to see the show. But even still, he and James outdid themselves in London. The Greatest Show ran twice daily for 12,000 people each time, and the seats were always full. As a last act, there was a dramatic depiction of the fall of Rome, complete with tigers, flames, Roman chariots, and gladiator fights. It was played by 1,200 performers and supported by a band and a choir. So, after the most
That's a lot of people, especially for that time.
Crazy. Yeah, that's insane.
It'd be a lot for today. Slim, you've been around this environment. They don't even get that many people.
Well, yeah, it's all health and safety now, isn't it? In all
and Cirque du Soleil is about 100, if not a little bit less. So yeah, it's not anywhere of the massive amounts of people being involved that there is nowadays. That's insane for sure.
Deathful years of his life with this new circus,
Hi, Marie.
Phineas brought the greatest show back to the US with plans to take it to other countries all over the world. But soon after he arrived, the 80-year-old showman caught a cold, suffered from a stroke, and on April 7th, 1891, Phineas Taylor Barnum took his last breath.
Unfortunately. All right, folks, that's pretty much what we're going to go with today. It's been a long week for me going through the storage stuff and getting all the things in the thingamabobbers. We found about like 200 steins in the storage unit and jewelry and a bunch of things that we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with in the next couple of weeks. Is the Pippa Marooney gonna be streaming tomorrow?
No one knows.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Saturday is 420.
Scots are unpredictable. Very unpredictable.
Yes. So Saturday is 420. So I will be performing that day. Yes, at the joint. Even if it's snowing, I'm still gonna do the show. Even though it's an outdoor stage, but we'll go. We'll see. But I'm gonna be there.
Don't get yourself sick, you sicko.
Yeah, but I mean, I've got to do the event. So, anyways, thank you all very much, Commanders. Or anything you want to say about what's going on for Saturday?
Hopefully 8 p.m. Eastern after Purple's autism stream. DSA, I'm going to upload the content that we're going to be pointing and laughing at because everyone was roboting from my Wi-Fi, and I'm going to have to make sure that everything works. But hopefully 8 p.m. Eastern, US, Canada, Saturday.
Awesome.
Sweet. Yeah, I've already clicked on the notification.
And you are welcome. And you are welcome to the panel if you so desire.
Awesome.
I would love to come.
I'll drop you a link. Hey, twin.
I'll be wearing a little bit of clothing if it's snowing, Mari. They only let me wear a little bit of clothing. All right, folks. We'll
be careful. Don't get too cold, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
While not wearing too much.
I know. It's not fun swallowing a frozen sword, but if it is, I'll probably be performing inside the shop.
Or a fork sword.
We'll see. Anyways, thank you all very much, and we'll see you tomorrow somewhere. If not on Pips, maybe. We'll see exactly similarly what I'm doing. But Saturday, I will be busy the whole day. And then Sunday, we'll see. And then Monday is going to be crazy shite. And damn it, I can't remember what we're going over off the top of my head. But anyways, the crazy shite.
I don't know.
And then all of the other things and stuff. So we'll see you all later.
And
Everybody
I do have
bye.
another bye.
Okay, go ahead.
Another announcement for the DSA for the next after this week. For the next 6 weeks, it might be switching to a weekday if the my brother running it does not work out that coming Saturday. But it will be back to its regular after I make the monies and move to Virginia.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so we'll let everybody know what's going on with that for DSA. All right, so thank you all very much. We're going to get the fuck out of here. I am exhausted as crap. So thank you very much, and we'll see you all later. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
Bye, bitch.